seat at the table with some men with confidence.
Greetings and salutations, good people. Welcome to the Open Mics Podcast. Yeah, this is going to be a little bit different this time around. I am your host. This is me, your boy Terrence, taking over the hosting chair for the night. And I've got the whole crew with me. Usual suspects are all in the building. So I'm going to let everybody one by one shout out their names and greet the peoples. Sean, what's up?
What's up, everybody? How y'all doing?
Rhino, what's going on?
Hello, everyone.
And Tony, what's good?
I'm here, present accounted for.
Nice. So this week, the Mics decided we wanted to have a little chat about a word that's been floating around online and in conversations, and we wanted to just kind of break this thing down a little bit and figure out what exactly does it mean. So the word for the day, boys and girls, is simp. What is a simp? Pretty simple question. And I'm just going to blast that on out to the fellas and y'all tell me what you think.
It's basically someone who has excessive sympathy, empathy, and attention to give towards someone who may not reciprocate quite in the same way that they do. When I was a kid, we called it being a brown noser. But today's kids calls it simping. No, if anybody else has a different definition.
I mean, that's a pretty good definition. What else you guys got? Talk to me.
So I think I had to kind of get my head around this because I wasn't with you guys, I think, for one of the other ones that you did, but simp is defined, and as I understood it, somebody who does too much for a person that they like, right? That's and really let's bring it in, let's narrow it down a little bit. A man who does too much for somebody that they like. It's now labeled, it has a term. This happens enough where it has a term or a terminology has been attached to it. I'm so interested in this, man. I can't wait to get into it so we can really get into it and unpack it. But as far as I understand, that's the definition, right?
Okay. So that's two there.
I kind of disagree with you, Sean. I think it's very possible for a woman to simp also. And
Okay.
I think it just looks different. I think it's all about uneven exchange, where one person is giving more than they're receiving, almost to the point where they're disrespecting themselves in the process. And I think that women can do that also.
This is true.
It's just that I think when women do it, like, okay, so when a man do it, is normally him giving money, gifts, time, things like that. When a woman do it, is normally her giving sex, but not getting that relationship that she wants.
Okay. So now we starting to get into the nitty gritty of this thing a little bit. Okay, this is what I'm talking about. All right. So for me, I feel like Rhino kind of started us on a path with that whole brown noser thing. You know, I think before I kind of defined it as a sucker, somebody who was just, going all out,
Right.
doing any and everything, this, that, and the third, trying to win somebody's affection to the point of overextending themselves and essentially playing themselves and putting themselves too far out for sake of said attention. And then Sean made the comment about feeling like it was a man who did that. And Tony immediately followed up with, it could be a man or a woman. And I was curious to see if anybody was going to pick up on that or not, because that is a, different way to address this term simp or simpette, or, we're not going to get into too far into the gender label thing, but one for a guy, one for a girl. But I think it's the same all the way around, and it can be either one, personal opinion. So, all good definitions. I think we've pretty much at least given our thoughts on it. Next question, or next thing I want to ask would be, how do you guys hear that term being used now? Is it still the same, or do you think people have kind of tweaked it a little bit?
I think people have tweaked it. I think people tend to use it more so towards guys, because, and I want to say younger guys, because usually it's younger guys that are in a position where their hormones are raging and they are more eager to be with the girl, and so much so to the point that he's willing to ignore the fact that she has a total and complete lack of interest in him. She's basically a stone wall, but he keeps trying over and over again, and it gets to the place that is really embarrassing. I've had friends in the past that I've had to pull aside and be like, "Hey, she's not interested in you, bro." And I've had people that have pulled me aside and said the same thing. But for some reason, I kept on, because I thought that I was gonna win some affection, and ended up with nothing. And but hold on, what's the question again? I'm getting so far away.
Do you think that people use the word simp differently now than maybe it was when we were coming up?
Yeah, it's become the catchphrase word of the day. It absolutely has. So
Okay.
I mean,
it's one of those buzzwords.
yeah,
I got
a
you.
buzzword. That's a better definition for it. It absolutely has. Just like anything.
Okay. I see some wheels turning.
You want to let me go, Tone, or you want to go? Okay. So Tone's gonna let me go. And yeah, I'm gonna second that for real and for sure, that it is definitely being used differently. Heck, I didn't even know what the term was. When we was coming up, I didn't never hear it really, used at all. So maybe that was me living under a rock somewhere from that standpoint or whatever. But I probably would have confused it with another word, which I'm not gonna say because it could be derogatory. But I probably would have confused it with another word from that standpoint if I had heard it from before. But now figuring it out, that's why I definitely think that it's something that the younger generation has caught on to and is running with, in order to use it, like you said, to describe a guy who is just doing way too much for somebody, not giving him anything back. And I'm going to second Rhino really heavy here, because when Rhino was talking, I was like, yeah, oh, absolutely, younger generation. Because I almost feel like, when we start talking about an older guy who is doing a bunch for younger female, paying bills, right, giving her money, doing way too much for something that is not reciprocated, but I think the term for that is now sugar daddy. I would be a sugar daddy at this point with that kind of thing if it's to a younger female. If it's to a female of my own age, then okay, a younger man would say I'm a simp. An older guy like us that would be right there on my age limit probably wouldn't even use that particular term. They would use some other terms, some probably stronger, more derogatory terms. Yeah, he's stupid. Let's just say what it is.
Man, just talk your talk. Say it however you want to say it.
I'm just saying. I'm saying what it is. I mean, that's where I would have went. You would have had to define simp for me if I was talking to a 20-some-year-old and I went, "Oh yeah, he's stupid. He giving all this. Oh, he's simp. Oh, what? Say it again."
Like, so see, Sean just hit the nail on the head, because he reminded me that we did use the term simp, but it meant someone who was of a lesser intelligence, a simpleton.
And see, that's exactly what I just said earlier, and I'm glad you hit back on it, Rhino, because I just said earlier that I think I was like simp. So why would simp fit that from that standpoint? But I think if you run it, that is short for simpleton. I'm right with you. That's where I'm getting that from. It's short for simple or simpleton. And yeah, I'm with you, Rhino. See, I would have lost on the other side of it, but yeah, definitely to answer your question, Terrence, and come back around full circle. Yes, they use it differently in these terminologies and in today's age. And like, yeah, in a way, I'm kind of feeling what Rhino's saying. Like it's like that buzz keyword, of this generation.
Okay, so are we about to start acknowledging our age here?
It's too late for that, bro.
Tony, what you got?
I don't have a problem with
Too
that.
late
I
for
don't
that.
want to be 23 no more. I don't want to be 23 no more.
I don't mind acknowledging the salt and pepper. It's all good. I'm seasoned, fully seasoned.
Right.
But let's see.
Sugar daddy all day. I'll take it.
But simp is way overused today. Where it come from, simpleton, I've always thought it's the antithesis of pimp. It's the opposite of pimp.
I'm with you. I like that, son.
I don't think it's an age thing. Like, as far as like what Sean was talking about when it comes to like simp versus sugar daddy. Because I think the big difference between a simp and a sugar daddy is sugar daddy is actually getting something. He might be pouring a lot of sugar. But at the end of the day, there is an exchange somewhere.
Okay.
Not always, Toad. Not always.
But mostly.
But most.
Okay.
But
Okay.
most.
Most guys will not be that sugar daddy unless he himself is also getting some sugar.
I would dare say the female is definitely the simp in that scenario.
I don't know. I don't agree because she's winning. She's winning.
Like this is getting
the score is
spicy.
10-1. She's got 10 and he's got 1.
Oh yeah, this is getting spicy now. Go for it.
But I think what's happening today is that when it comes to being a simp, I think they're going way overboard now because it's like any act of kindness is considered simping. Like if you work at McDonald's and you hand somebody some nuggets and don't give them a napkin, you simping. I mean, and you give them a napkin, you simping, right?
Right.
You give them some whipped cream on their iced coffee, you simping.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So yeah, man. Okay, yeah, y'all are really unpacking this word, and I'm loving it because there's a lot to it for a 4-letter word that's not like profanity, quote unquote. It's powerful, and for me, just thinking about the initial question, is it how does it being used currently? I do feel like I don't know if it's really an extension or a synonym to sugar daddy. Kinda, but not necessarily in the exact same sense. Because for me, I do feel like maybe a sugar daddy would be an older simp, but the simp isn't necessarily winning per se. Like to think in regards to that sugar daddy, the older male probably is a little bit wiser, and a little bit more seasoned, and probably less likely to keep paying into something and not
getting the return.
Receiving something. Right.
Yeah, that's true.
Not getting a return on his investment.
That's true.
So, but let's not front. There's some dudes out there, some of our peers who probably are still playing the game, thinking that they playing the long game. And nah, bro, you just paying somebody else's bills and getting game run on you. So it can happen. So it can be synonymous, but I don't think it's too far off. I do think that there was something else that was mentioned with regards to winning and losing, and an aspect of this being somewhat transactional, or people doing things for whatever reason. And in that regard, I do feel like that's where the biggest difference lies. Nowadays, it seems like any and everything is considered simping. Like Tony's example of putting the whipped cream on the iced coffee, the passing somebody napkins, holding a door open for somebody, opening your lady's car door or whatever. And I think that for me, that's what I'm hearing from this younger generation. And that's where the disconnect is. Like, nah, bro, that's not necessarily simping. That's just being a good person. That's just being nice. That's, sprinkling a little sugar on a situation, but it's not harming you in a way to where you're like, it's not detrimental. That's what I'm trying to say.
Right.
And I was just wanting to point that out. For me, anyway, I felt like that would be one of those bigger differences with regards to how this word is being used now. So
I think one of the things about it is that what separates it is, okay, acts of kindness. Are they honest or do they have ulterior motives? Like, are you holding that door because that's what you normally would do in this situation? And if it was another woman or another person, you'd hold that door for them? Or are you holding that door because you're trying to slide in this person in particular? Like, are you trying to grease your way in? Like, what? I think the motive, it has a lot to do with whether you're simping or not. And
okay.
I think go ahead.
I want to pause you right there because you kind of leading into something else that was floating around as my next kind of point that I want to address would be, how do you feel like there's a line? Because we're talking about being chivalrous, right? Versus trying to grease somebody. So where do you guys, number one, do you think there's a line? And number two, if so, where's the line between just doing something nice and simping or being or
I
overextending
mean,
yourself? I'll say
yeah,
it that way.
there's definitely a line, but I mean, there's also the aspect of the perceiver, the person that's doing that's watching the activity take place. Because some people could just be wanting to knock you down. Oh, you simping. Oh, you simping for her. But it's like, no, I was just being nice. Don't we live in a world that's filled with a bunch of nonsense already? I can't be nice. So it could be someone just accusing and using that word simp to knock the person down a peg. But there's nothing
Okay.
wrong with being a little chivalrous. I know they say chivalry is dead. I don't think it's all the way dead. There are still some people, some of us who were taught to be respectful, to open doors for ladies and such the like. And I'm sure some of us, as when we got kids, we taught them to, you respect women, you respect girls, you respect ladies. Don't be disrespectful. So a lot of that is still going on. But the line, I think the line is drawn by the person that's watching the activity take place and the person that's actually adding the sprinkles. I mean, is she trying to grease some palms? I mean, because I live my life, and I know I'm always bringing it back to myself because that's the best way I can explain it. I live my life trying to be nice to everybody. I don't expect everyone to be nice to me. I don't expect everyone to be respectful of me, but I still try to dole out a measure of respect and kindness to people. not necessarily because I'm trying to get anything from them, but at the end of the day, if they see two people drowning and they're like, "Well, Rhino's always nice to me," I'm gonna save Rhino from drowning. I want that. So if that makes me a simp, then hey, that's right. That's right.
You're gonna be a save from drowning simp.
You know what? I'm just glad you said what you said, because when you first started talking about I live my life, been watching too many Fast and Furious movies. I swear I thought you were about to say I live my life a quarter mile at a time. I was like, no, don't do
No,
it.
and
But
I believe it or not, I actually get that reference a quarter
It's all
mile at a
about family.
time. No. Family.
all right.
So
Yeah, family. Anyway. But I do want to jump in and comment on something you said real quick, though. That whole chivalry is dead thing. Real talk. How many times have y'all heard that coming up? Chivalry should be like good and gone at this point. But it seems like chivalry is still on life support, which tells me it may not be as dead as people
Yeah,
think.
I don't think it's
Just
all the
saying.
way dead. No.
Man, chivalry got COPD and COVID-19. That sucker is on a respirator right
it
now.
hurt. It hurt now.
IV.
It hurt and go.
Oh, don't get it
Fair.
twisted.
Antibiotics.
I'm not gonna go out of my way to hold a door for a lady. You know, if it's a woman I respect, oh yeah, come on. You know, but for the most part, I'm going in, and I'm waiting for her to say, "Aren't you supposed to hold that door for ladies, ma'am? You want it to be equal. Be equal. Hold the door open for yourself."
Okay.
Okay. God dang it. Oh. So
And that's the good guy.
yeah, this is one of them.
Hey,
Absolutely and totally still one of them.
Trying to be good anyway. Some people push that point.
Yeah, hey, listen.
okay, so holding doors is clearly Rhino's line.
Nah, I think the line is a little bit more definitive, maybe than this would just be me. It is about, like you guys were saying, some of it has got to do, and I won't go before I go into reciprocation or coming back, because some people say, well, the line is the reciprocation, right? If there's just absolutely none, there's nothing coming back, you probably going a little far with everything that you're doing. If you like this particular female, whatever, you're doing a whole lot, and all that stuff. But I definitely don't think when we talk about chivalry, see the stuff we're talking about, going to get the car for the rain, holding the doors open, that's chivalry stuff, right? That's the stuff that we're talking about. It's hanging on by a thread, but it's still out there. But I don't think that's defined as simping, until or unless it's caught up with, a whole host of other things. To me, I think the line is when you start, getting into coming out of pocket, things that hurt you, coming out of pocket, paying bills, things like that, buying stuff, for her birthday, and you not with this woman officially, you getting her, I don't know, rings and jewelry and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? There's still been no full on she's interested in you from that standpoint. You know what I mean? Especially the paying bills. Me personally, that's one of them big ones for me, because I don't see how nobody paying nobody bills. You know what I'm saying? I don't see how I'm paying bills for a female that I like, and I ain't really been getting no attention. So that right there is a big line cross for me, and a big thing where I know, hey, something has went terribly wrong, terribly wrong at that point. So now that's why I was saying with the reciprocation coming back in there, you're not supposed to do something to get something, right? That's
Right.
what they say. We're not actually supposed to be setting it up where you're saying, hey, I'm doing something to get something. However, but we'll be for real here. There are some, and I used to do it. I used to think that I could play the long game with a young lady at times. You know what I'm saying? Every time she turned around, I'll just be here. You know what I mean? When she go over there to Mike, she gonna go over there, then she gonna come back here. She be crying. There's that shoulder, girl. Put it right there. I got you.
Right.
I will be your comforter. I will make it right.
You know what?
Tell me what to
Sean,
do this time to make you
Bro,
cry.
I've been there, bro. I've been there, and I learned the hard way. And nope. In fact, fun fact,
I'm
in
with
my
you, trust me.
inbox right now, is a hi, how are you? How have you been right now? And I refuse to answer it because I'm not gonna know. Because when I was interested in
Because
you weren't interested in me. So
Exactly.
why would I waste my time? Even after all these years, why would I waste my
Exactly.
time? I'm not doing that. I am
Exactly.
not a simp
Exactly.
today.
Sean doing the whole Shy album.
Yes, I'm saying all of
Like,
it because
girl, lay down.
lay down. Tell me
Tell me what's on your mind.
What exactly did he do? And I thought
To make you cry this time.
look, I
Okay.
thought it would work. That was definitely a form of when we look back on it, if you want to say it that way, if it's not getting reciprocated, that was a form of simping. It was. Now, some cats have been successful with it. There's some cats right now spin their wedding ring listing us like, yeah, you say what you want. I wore her down. Steve Urkel was my doggone idol. I wore her down like Laura. But
After she
boy.
started talking, hit her with that ooh da da doo doo doo.
Shout out to Shy.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Big shout out to Shy and all the members. But I'll pass the mic at that point and just say,
But, man, y'all throwing out some good stuff, but you're giving too much credit to News Today, because News Today will call you for simping for buying your wife a gift on her birthday.
yeah.
They will say you simping for giving your daughter a hug. They will say you simping for for telling your mama you love her. What you doing? Being all kind of that woman. You's a simp. That's my mama, though. What you simping to your mama for?
But
I heard that in Chris Rock's voice. What you sipping for your mama for?
I'm a
Tony.
Go ahead, Sean.
Tony, that brings up something like what Rhino was saying, though. And I'll put it in terms of defense, right? Doesn't that feel more like it's defense? And I don't mean to take away Terrence's response to this question before we get into that. I don't want to, careen off.
No, do your thing.
I was just saying, to me, what Tony's saying now, and a little bit of what Rhino touched on, I feel like it's defense. I feel like don't you just feel like that's defense of, especially to take it that far, to take it far enough to where you're saying I'm simping because I hugged my daughter, because I kissed my mama on a TikTok and told her I loved her, whatever. Isn't that just defense of this next generation of cats that don't want to do stuff like that?
It's a sign of a bigger problem, and this could be a conversation all of itself. It's basically just shame, and it just shows that or shall I say, they're at war, and they've already picked their side. They've already decided they've picked the side of men, and anything that a man does for a woman is considered crossing the line. Regardless of who that woman is, regardless of who that man is, regardless of if they have a relationship or if that person deserves it or not, none of that stuff matters. All that matters is you're giving energy and resources to the enemy. Why would you do that? That enemy is my mama. I can't love my mama. No, you can't love your mama. You're supposed to love us.
She's a woman, isn't she? Yeah. She's supposed to give you her love and then let go.
Like vampires versus werewolves or something like
Is
that.
Is this a MGTOW versus feminist version of the Cold War? Where it's just secretly hating each other and causing the rest of society to pick a side.
That was another term that was just used. MGTOW.
Like we're in True Blood or something like that. It's like you got to pick a team.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so just for me, from my perspective, I do feel like the line would be anything that is overextending myself. If I'm the one in that position of quote unquote simping and doing the most, right? Anything that's put me in a bind where I'm trying to float somebody else's household in addition to mine, and I'm really laying it on extra thick with like the abundance of gifts and the abundance of flowers and expensive meals on a regular, just doing stuff out of the ordinary for myself or things that I wouldn't normally do just in general. That's where I think that line is. I do, however, feel like you guys have all been on that train of now anything done even remotely nice is considered simping. And I want to know, what do you guys think is like at the root of this idea that now everything has to be done as a transaction? Like, I'll do this for you, but only if I get this in return. Where do you think that came from? Or do y'all even agree with that perspective as to why everything is now considered simping?
Let me jump in that. That comes from years of simping without getting nothing.
Okay.
Good answer. Good
Aight.
answer.
All right.
That comes from, offering gifts like the three wise men, like I'm bringing gold, frankincense, and myrrh.
From a land far away, I have traveled with these gifts.
I followed a star to find you.
Following yonder star.
I've crossed the desert with a camel on a mission. Here you go. And you get a thank you. Hope you find your way back home.
Wow. Okay.
You simp for years and centuries, and you get you get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
Oh wow.
So you're like, next time they get frankincense, like, I ain't giving no frankincense unless we doing something after this.
Oh gosh.
Wow.
And
That's where we at now.
Well, I always ask these questions to you guys, but anybody listening, please feel free to chime in the comments and let us know what you think as well, because clearly we're having fun with this and we want to include you in the party. But anyway,
Man, that's
go
a
ahead.
slippery
What
slope,
else is
man. I mean, there's a breakdown somewhere. There's a breakdown. Because it seems to me that years ago people dated each other to get to know each other. So now if I'm paying for dinner and a movie, I gotta get a little something broken off of me at the end of the night. Isn't that prostitution? Isn't that? I mean, I'm just saying. It's a slippery slope. I think men and women gotta figure out a way to come together and without giving up anything, but first just learn about each other and figuring out that, hey, if we don't click, there's no shame in both of us walking away. I don't owe you anything. You don't owe me anything. I mean, because that isn't that what it used to be. You're courting her. I'm courting her. We're getting to know each other as much as we can without actually doing the deed of consummation, i.e., sex, to get to know if we're a good fit. But I don't know. I think people just put the horse, the cart before the horse.
okay?
I think the problem is assuming honesty on both sides. Is that with your idea, you're thinking like, if I'm an honest man and I come to the table, this honest woman is going to come to the table too, and we're going to put our feelers out there honestly. And a lot of times that ain't happening.
That's fair. That's fair.
A lot of times what's happening is like, I will show her the world.
Oh no, don't do that.
And
not just anybody can ride on my magic carpet. Sorry.
You have the idea that you're gonna wine her and dine her. I'll show her. She'll see. You think you're gonna impress her, right? And she comes to the table just Pac-Man and
Wow, the references to that statement, all over the place.
just chewing and eating.
Oh boy, Sean is down there doing a happy dance. What up, bro?
Hold on. Sean looked like he in a corner warming up to fight Tyson right now.
He is ready.
If there could be alarms that's getting ready to go off, this would be the moment I would tell you. Sound the alarm. I'm coming for you. I'm glad y'all opened this up. I almost want to ask Terrence to run the question again so I can bring it really into focus. What was the question again, my brother?
Okay, so the question was initially, dang it, almost lost it myself a little bit because Tony had his references threw me for a loop. But anyway, I'm gonna try and bring it back. What we were talking about was not where's the line, but why did we feel like things have become this transactional interaction, and why simping is done on a transactional basis?
There you go. So Tony sounded the alarm a little bit on where I was getting ready to go. That's why I said I was ready for it and ready to open it up and
Ding.
and pull out both 6 guns and fire out. Okay. Tony hit on it a little bit when he said it just a minute ago, where we was tired. It was tired of, not getting anything. That's basically what it was, right? If I'm a simp, let's imagine I'm a simp, and we don't have to imagine too hard because I've been there somewhere along that line, right? Being this guy,
Thank
being
you
the
for
nice
saying
gentleman.
that.
Yeah, I'm just saying, being this guy, being this nice gentleman, doing what I could do for this female who I like, right? So she could see me, right? So she could say, Sean's a really good guy. I should date Sean. I should be with Sean, right? Waiting for that moment, doing all of these things, right? Getting her to be there and just being around, you know what I'm saying? And everything like that. But you know what really did it, like Tony said, what did it was the non-reciprocation. What also did it, I'm glad I swear I'm glad y'all hit this. The women, it's y'all fault. Y'all did it. That was what it was. How we even got to a point where we can even call it a simp even nowadays. Oh, you simping, you doing this, you paying that girl's bills. How she let me pay her bills and she don't like me? How she let me carry her refrigerator up and down the steps and she don't like me? but it's enough of them that have done it for this to become a term. Ain't no way. You know what I'm saying? There's enough of them that have done it to now. Okay, of course. Eventually, and I said this a little bit earlier, everything has a breaking point. Eventually, when you see somebody who sees me as a simp, or even my simp self for 2-3 females, by the time I get to that 4th, 5th one, you want to do a little something for I can carry a refrigerator up the steps. What's in it for me? Pay what bill? Because it ain't like these ladies. We letting them off the hook. It ain't like these ladies ain't fostering this stuff. Okay. It ain't like you ain't call that girl and say, hey, what's going on? How you doing? Hey, you sound like something going on. What's wrong with you? Having a little bit of a rough day. I got some stuff on my mind. What's on your mind? Tell me what's happening, right? I'm trying to figure out how I'm gonna pay this bill. I have my mortgage due. It's only $400, but still, I'm trying to figure out how I'm gonna do it. Oh, okay. Then that's just got my day messed up. I just can't really get right. Well, I tell you what, I'm gonna make your day better. I got you. Oh, you ain't gotta do that. I didn't ask you for that. Make a show. She make a show. She laid that thing down. I didn't ask you. Okay. But you let me do it though. But my bank account $400 lighter at the end of the day. And at the end of the week, you posting pictures on the plane going to Aruba with your girls. Why? Because I paid your mortgage. And you can roll. I didn't even get an invite. This is why I can't get you on the phone. So next time, and it ain't this girl's fault. The next time that girl, because she ain't never give me nothing. So I moved on to about 3 more girls, then never gonna go to this 3rd one. So by the time I get the girl 4, you need me to pay a bill. What's in it for me?
So by girl number 4, you singing a different song.
I'm singing
what
a
have
whole
you done for
different
me
song.
lately?
Let me add a little bit on to that.
Janet.
And Sean is looking at it from the aspect of him being one dude. most likely she got a list. Like
Yes,
probably
yes,
probably sent that same text message to 4 dudes. Now she got $1,600. Not only is her bill paid, but she taking a vacation.
That's where the
going
flight
shopping.
ticket came from. That's where look. That's what. So what I'm saying, that's who, and we say who did it. I mean, we let these ladies way off the hook from that standpoint. They want to absolve it and say, "Oh, he is simp." Ha 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 ha. Ain't no ha ha. What about the female? You know what I'm saying? Because when you flip it, Tony mentioned it a little bit earlier. He said, "Okay, it's possible for a woman to be a simp as well, right? Because what she's probably doing is giving up, and not getting the relationships
Right.
that she wants out of it, right?" That's most likely what's happening, right? Dude is, and if even to take that a little bit further, we talk about these kind of cats all the time. That's laying up on the couches and whatever. You know what I'm saying? Taking advantage and chilling, right? But the tripping thing is, and I will say this, a woman in that situation, she's not necessarily, they don't focus on the woman, right? So they don't focus on the woman as a simp. We focus on the dude. This dude is wrong. This dude's taking advantage, right? How, as a dude, I'm a simp when I do it for a female who really don't want me, whatever the case may be, right? But when a female does it for a dude who may not really want her, it's the dude taking advantage. How we absolve the females on this side from this standpoint. When a female does it, then she's taking advantage of
Wow.
me. You know what I'm saying? I shouldn't be doing it either, but she is.
Well, since we doing this musical thing, there is a song for that one too. Much as I can't stand, yay. She give me money
Yes, sir.
when I'm in it.
All things are trifling.
I'm just saying, they're not completely absolved.
I mean, I know, but in the context of what we're talking about today, that's what I was basically saying. I see, I instantly saw it once it came down to us talking about it or whatever the case may be, and I was like, I instantly saw it and feel, and that's why I said sound the alarms before I said so. But I'm sorry, lady. I ain't letting the ladies off the hook with that one either.
I think it is actually worse for them because I think we learned. I think we learn and we recover. We may be a little bit broker, but like eventually we'll work it off and get that money back or whatever. But a lot of times they want that dude. They really want that dude. And even when that dude is gone, the next dude is compared to that dude. The next dude after that is compared to that dude. And the next dude after that is compared to that dude. And they still want that dude or a dude like that dude. And he ain't coming back because he knows he's that dude. So why? Why be with one?
So he got a list too.
Some dudes have lists.
I'll give you another story. Give you another song. Dude was a Rolling Stone. Offbeat clap.
Wherever he let his hat was his home.
Was the 3rd of September,
Oh my goodness. Was just watching that today too. But anyway, oh gosh. The music in this chat has been crazy.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a bomb soundtrack. Be a bomb soundtrack.
A playlist for this one. Yep.
You ain't lying.
Yes,
you ain't
sir.
lying. We making some people go get their playlist happy.
Oh, we might have to drop a playlist with this episode afterwards. The soundtrack is scored. Yes.
By YouTube Music. YouTube Music. Support YouTube Music.
There you go. There you go. Find the video and everything.
Nice plug. Nice cheap plug, but we'll take it.
Yeah, we don't want,
Hey,
we don't want them coming.
Actually, do that.
Gotta
Compile
appease
it
the
and put it on
algorithms.
YouTube. I mean, actually compile that.
That's not a bad idea.
That is not a bad idea.
But man.
Okay. So I don't know, man. I feel like we have gotten into the weeds with this one a little bit now that we're talking music and soundtracks and everything else, but I'm glad we had this conversation. Clearly, there was a lot to say, and I still feel like there may be a couple more things to dig into on this one, but we've been at it for a minute, so I'm gonna try to wrap this thing on up and ask, is there anything that hasn't been said? Anybody got something on their chest they just gotta get off before we put this to bed? Okay. Well then, on that note, just want to say to our listeners, thank y'all for listening. Like, share, and subscribe.
Peace.
God bless you. Good night. Peace.
Peace. Bye, everybody.
Peace out.